A little bit of sprinkles and stuff and get a little wet, I don't worry about that. But this guy came across the valley like, I'm gonna eat you. That's what it looked like. And the wind was really bad. And I was coming down 126th and my bike swerved real fast. Some wind thing, downdraft hit me and just dang near blew me into traffic. It was a really bad puff of wind. So I was fighting the bike all the way home, trying to get home real quick. So I kinked my neck. So if I talk to you where I'm not moving my neck around, it's because I was running away from a storm last night. I don't know what Mr. Briggs has told you about Vietnam. I was there, and it hasn't changed. Doesn't matter if I was there in 1930 or 1980. It's still the same. That jungle is just jungle and rice paddies. We were there at a time in the Marine Corps, and we had a job to do in the Marines, and it wasn't humanitarian. We weren't carrying rifles to help us dig holes and stuff. It was a dangerous place to be when I was there. I joined up out of BYU. I went to BYU and flunked out of BYU. And I didn't do well enough to stay. They invited me to leave. So I decided I'd go join the Marine Corps. So I joined the Marines. My dad had been a Marine. And they shipped me right straight to Vietnam after some boot camp and training and stuff. Jungle warfare or whatever, label they put on that stuff. And all they're doing is teaching you to kill people. That's all they do. And they're not into the, make friends and help them build houses. That's not what we did. So I got to Vietnam kind of knowing what I was supposed to be doing, but it was weird. You never see the enemy. You never see the people that you're supposed to be chasing. They were really elusive. Of course, they didn't want to meet us. They didn't like the Marines at all. And the feeling was mutual. We've seen stuff that they've done to our men and guys that have been captured or whatever. And you develop, a kill or be killed attitude in a place like that. I'd been there about 6 months, and I thought I was about the best Marine they'd ever had in Vietnam. I was always chosen to be walk point on the patrols and stuff. I don't know if it's because I was athletic or because I had good vision or I didn't smoke or whatever it was that made it so I'd be a good point man. But the point man walks out in the front of a column when you're on a patrol, and they're responsible for not walking a patrol into an ambush. Because if you walk your patrol into an ambush, then all your men are going to get killed. And so the point man was usually somebody that had been around a while, knew the trails and knew the country, knew the people, knew the little boys that would come up to me when we'd go in the villages and stop for, sit down and have sea rations or whatever. The boys and little kids would come up to me and try to con me out of stuff and get my chocolate and all that stuff. It's exactly like I've always been. But after I'd been there 6 months, I got sent to Hawaii on R&R, which is rest and recuperation. Really, for most Marines, it's about a 7-day drunk, and they'd go and just relax in Australia or Hawaii. And they have 4 or 5 different places you could choose to go, and you'd leave the jungles and the Vietnam area, and you would go out for a week of kind of deprogram your head and get your head back on, and then they'd send you back over. I went to Hawaii, and when I came back from Hawaii, my R&R, my patrol, my whole company had moved. And so the area that I knew real well was no longer where I was. So when we came back to this new area, I didn't know the trails, I didn't know the people, I didn't know what areas were dangerous and what ones weren't. We were by a big bridge, by a big river, and they had blown the bridge up, and so there was a lot of stuff going on in this new place. We called it Arizona Territory, and it was really bad. It was where the North Vietnamese Ho Chi Minh Trail came down out of that north and then ran right by our base, basically, like a freeway of North Vietnamese soldiers. We went on patrol one evening, they called us up, stuck me in a helicopter, stuck my patrol, that's like 12 of us, back in another base. I'm moving kind of fast. And from that base, we were supposed to walk a road sweep back to our original base. So they flew me in a helicopter, and we go to the base. We stay there at night, we sleep behind fences and guards and stuff in a big air base. And then that next morning we were to get up and we were walking a patrol that sweeps the road for mines. And you've seen those little things where they tick, 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 they walk and then they sweep in front of them with these things that metal detectors. And we were security for those people walking the jungle road. Just a trail, just a road. But a lot of supplies came in on it, so we had to keep it clear. We were chosen to walk security. I had no clue where we were, what we were doing. I didn't know the area at all. I'd been walking for 3 or 4 hours, but from this base back to our base by the river, and boom, up I went. I can remember before I went up in the air that I thought this is a real good place for a booby trap. Be real cautious, boom. I had no control over what happened. One of my men set off a 105 shell, which is an artillery shell, underneath me, and it blew me straight up in the air. They call them IEDs now, I think. Blew me straight up in the air, took my left leg off just instantly, messed up my right leg real bad, hammered my head, my eyes, my fingers were a mess, and everybody that was there thought, he's dead, he's gone. Came down in a big hole that the explosion made, and I don't remember anything but pieces from there. I see flashes of people jumping in this big explosion hole that the crater that the explosion made. And people working on me. I remember the Lord's Prayer. So there's a lot of drama going on when somebody gets hurt real bad. We always think we're going to get hit when someone is hurt because we won't leave them. And if the enemy were to hit us right then, it would be a real good time. And so everybody's really alert and aware and ready to fight. And I was, you know, one of the kids at the elementary school said, put it in a way, he wrote me a little letter. He said, "I'm sorry you got bombed." And it was a little second grader, because my cousin taught second grade, and he had right on the bomb, right on the wall, right on the board, these are things you can say to Corporal Johnson in the hospital, and this little kid said, "I'm sorry you got bombed." So I got bombed on January 30th. And from there I spent 1.5 years in hospitals and tried to work on artificial legs. It was just too hard. Found that I was really good in a wheelchair. Started playing wheelchair sports. Was invited on the U.S. Olympic team in '76. Competed in the Olympics in Canada in '76. I've done a lot of stuff playing basketball around the country before I started teaching. Once I started teaching, then the athletics kind of slowed down. Once my wife had our 8th baby, things sort of slowed down. So it wasn't too much traveling anymore. Met Jan. We've been married 41 years now, I think. Been teaching for 33. Still love it. Coach basketball, coach baseball. Have 6 boys and 2 girls, and still enjoy you guys. So, we'll see how long that lasts. That's kind of it.
Well, thank you, my friend. And